Kejriwal be given bail or not?
No.
What's the matter?
No, that was
Kejriwal,
no.
What was the
Three.
matter?
I'll tell you.
What was the matter?
Open the
one second. What was the matter? What was the matter before the Supreme Court?
Three matters. Please read.
What was the fundamental case before the Supreme Court?
Okay, I'm reading it now. Allow me to read the Supreme Court. Please listen. Having considered the material on record and the extensive submission made by the parties, the following questions fall for a deliberation. Okay? Point number one, whether there was any illegality in the appellant's arrest. That is one question. Point number two, whether the arrest was lawful. Point number two. Point number three, is the appellant entitled to a bail? These are 3 points. What did the Supreme Court said on the legality of arrest? The Supreme Court said on the legality of arrest that it is an absolutely
CBI's arrest was to frustrate bail granted to Kejriwal. CBI moved in after Kejriwal was granted bail. CBI cannot justify arrest and continue detention, citing evasive replies. Accused has the right to remain silent and cannot be compelled to make statements against himself. This is what the court has said.
No, this is not the order.
And I reiterate, before I come to the guests, before I move to the other guests, if the CBI director has been slapped with this judgment today, I'm sorry, the CBI director should step down. If anybody should step down, the CBI director has been completely taken to the cleaners today by Justice Ujjwal Bhoyan, who was one of 2 judges who has granted bail to Mr. Kejriwal. Now, Mr. Sharma, let me take my good friend Mr. Bhandari's point. Justice Surya Kant, on the legality or the illegality of the arrest, has said this, the following. Appellant's arrest by CBI was permissible in light of trial court's order dated June 25, 2024. Justice Surya Kant also says, do not find any merit in appellant's contention that CBI failed to comply with set procedures that are meant for arrest. Justice Surya Kant also says, appellant's arrest does not suffer from any procedural infirmity. Plea on non-compliance of procedure does not merit any acceptance by this court. This is one of the 2 judges who pronounced the order today, who is saying that the arrest was not wrong, the arrest was not illegal, and that whatever was cited by Mr. Kejriwal's lawyers was wrong, and the arrest was permissible in light of the trial court's order dated 25th June 2024. Mr. Sharma.
Then how come Zaka Arvind Kejriwal is out today?
It's bail.
Okay.
It's the norm, not the exception.
Okay. Let me at the outset empathize today with Pradeep Bhandari. I think Zaka should have given him enough time. You were interrupting him too much. He would not get the flow. I think he had a point, and let the viewers should have listened to his point. However,
so AAP and BJP have now joined hands. Okay, they're on the same page on this one. Okay.
No. As a debater, I would have liked to listen to what he said. Anyway, no problem. What substantive thing happened today was that the Supreme Court today unambiguously told Modi Sarkar 3 things. One, this nation is governed by the constitution and not by the delusion of BJP. Number 2, CBI arrested Arvind Kejriwal illegally after the Supreme Court released him in an ED case. And number 3, CBI and ED are caged parrots. Now, from these 3 observations, my logical question to BJP is, will now Modi 2.40, which is already on crutches, stop seeing power as a weapon to punish and start seeing power as a tool to serve? Point number 2, when is the Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah, resigning as owner of that caged parrot and the architect-in-chief of this entire conspiracy to jail an elected chief minister?
But Sharma Saab, I want to separate 2 or 3 issues. Let's separate 2 or 3 issues.
Can I complete my opening statement?
I can. Just give me 10 seconds. One of the judges has said that the manner of arrest was illegal. The other judge, as I read out, did not find merit in the illegality of the arrest. But both judges concurred, yes, there is merits for bail. One judge said the triple test of bail has been cleared, therefore bail is being given. The other judge also gave him bail, but the other judge had very, very big questions to ask about the manner of arrest. But the point is that to say that the arrest was illegal or to say that the central government misused the CBI, none of that has been cited in the judgment today.
Yeah, what this judgment has essentially ensured, Zaka, today, the byproduct of today's judgment will be that no common man or political party will get intimidated by BJP's hounding wolves anymore. That is a closed chapter now. ये जो ऑपरेशन कमल करते हैं, चाहे वो झारखंड में करे, चाहे अरविंद केजरीवाल के साथ करे, चाहे कर्नाटक में करे, चाहे महाराष्ट्र में करे, उस पर आज से ताला लग गया।
शर्मा साहब, ये तो सिर्फ बेल है। This is not a clean sheet.
10 seconds, Zaka, 10 seconds. This nation is blessed by Lord Ram. Arvind Kejriwal is loved by India, and the common man today has a shield called Constitution.
कोर्ट ने तो ये नहीं बोला ना कि अरविंद केजरीवाल को बरी कर दिया।
I'll come to that.
कोर्ट ने तो ये नहीं बोल दिया ना कि अरविंद केजरीवाल को एक्विट कर रहे हैं हम, उनका कोई रोल ही नहीं था लिकर गेट में।
नहीं, आज ये today the situation has come that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal and Mr. Himant Biswa Sharma, both chief ministers of the respective states, both accused under ED, both are under ED investigation, are both on the same footing. That is what has happened today.
Okay, so Arvind Kejriwal and Hemant Biswa are on the same footing. Also, ये भी तो बता दीजिए ना कि the court has also said he can't sign any files, he can't go to the secretariat, he can't do anything on official duty. इसके बारे में भी बोल दीजिए. Is that not an indictment?
No, absolutely not. Shall I give you a cheeky answer to that?
No, cheeky is fine.
Okay, cheekiest point is that if Mr. Narendra Modi can keep peace in Manipur without going to Manipur, if Mr. Narendra Modi sitting in India can stop the Russia-Ukraine war, if Mr. Narendra Modi without going to Switzerland can ensure 310 million
no court has said. No court has said that he cannot go to South Block where his office is. But today a court has said Mr. Kejriwal cannot go to secretariat. Mr. Kejriwal cannot sign official files. Court has said. ये कोर्ट ने बोला है, मैंने नहीं बोला है।
अरे झाका, लेट मी
आज के जजमेंट में है सर, पढ़ लीजिए।
जजमेंट सर हमने भी पढ़ा है। The court has not stopped Arvind Kejriwal from signing any papers. The court has only said he cannot go to the chief minister's office. And let me tell you.
No. One second. Sir. Let's not mislead our viewers.
Let me complete.
Let's not mislead our viewers. Let's be true to facts. कोर्ट ने ये बोला है he cannot perform any official duties as chief minister, including signing files officially as chief minister. सर ये जजमेंट में है सर। सर ये जजमेंट में है।
No, he can sign. You are fighting wrong and you are misleading.
Pradeep Bhandari, quick response, and I go to Rajat Sethi and to Rashid Bhai after that.
There was a time.
Pradeep is responding. Cheeky answer.
Zaka, there was a time when Lalu Prasad Yadav also used to think that he is the most honest politician of India, and he was also quote unquote out on bail. But then the law took its own course. Again, I am reiterating, no court has passed such harsh conditions on bail as has been passed on Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. He cannot visit the chief minister's office. He cannot sign a single fine without the concurrence of the lieutenant governor, which means that the court believes that Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is not fit to discharge his duties as the Delhi chief minister. But सत्ता का लोभ इतना है कि तब भी बने रहेंगे।
तो शर्मा साहब very quickly, if he can't, शर्मा साहब ये बताइए ना, if he can't, शर्मा साहब ये सुन लीजिए, सवाल सुन लीजिए। If he can't sign files, if he can't go to secretariat, official capacity में कुछ कर नहीं सकते, तो इस्तीफा दे दें। क्या ही करना? मतलब
Is that question to me?
Yeah, exactly, to you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Zaka, I gave a cheeky answer earlier. That's because you asked me for. But the substantial part is that we should understand that unlike what the BJP deludedly thinks, that this nation is run by Mr. Modi by coming at 8 o'clock. If Mr. Modi can come at 8 o'clock in the night on national television on a studio and bring in demonetization or bring in a lockdown, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, wherever he has been in the last 6 months, the electricity of Delhi, free electricity is going on, the free water is going on,
which by the way,
education is going on.
Both of these decisions,
nothing will stop.
Electricity cut होना चालू हो गई सर।
Challenged in court, courts validated both of these decisions. Let's move aside.
Electricity cut होना चालू हो गई सर।
Let's go to Rajat Sethi. Rajat Sethi, there is one point which the BJP needs to address. That you cannot just randomly throw all opposition leaders. Hemant Soren was in jail, he got bail. Now in the liquor gate itself, from K. Kavita to Vijay Nair, Manish Sisodia, Mr. Mahindru, now Mr. Kejriwal, one after another have gotten bail because fundamentally the court has said you can't just incarcerate people and they have to wait for years for the trial to begin. That fundamental rights, right to life and liberty, trump over any stringent provision of PMLA. In number of cases, including in today's case, the court has reiterated that. Rajat.
Sorry, yeah.
You have to
I think while the court was pointing one finger at these agencies and the central government today, 4 were pointing towards itself. And let me tell you that PMLA has been under consideration with the Supreme Court. And what has the Supreme Court done for the past 4 or 5 years? Why have they not clamped down on absolutely unconstitutional origins of the PMLA itself? Why have they not gone ahead and taken steps on the bail plea before? Were they not justices? Is Justice Bhuyan actually accusing his colleagues who rejected the bail of Arvind Kejriwal repeatedly? Is he going against the Delhi High Court justices who rejected the bail as well? Should all these justices resign because their position was actually factually incorrect? If you hold that as the gospel truth from here onwards, what Justice Bhuyan said? What has the Supreme Court said in terms of laying down frameworks for bail which are not dependent on whether you are the chief minister or a common person on the streets of New Delhi? Tell me that.
I do want to clarify.
Let me complete
just give me 10 seconds.
Allow my flow of thoughts to conclude.
Since you brought it.
Allow my flow of thoughts to conclude.
Okay, conclude. Yeah,
See, the point is right to equality and equal justice should have been guaranteed by none other than the Supreme Court. So if there is a common man on the street or the Prime Minister or anybody else for that matter, they should see bail as a norm for this country. Can the Supreme Court come out and say that from here onwards, bail will be the norm? And if they cannot, they should stop sermonizing. And I'm saying that with all and utmost respect.
I just want to clarify one point. When a related matter had come up about 3-4 months ago, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves me right, I think it was a bench headed by the CJI, Justice Chandrachud, who said that lower courts are erring when it comes to matters of bail, and that life and liberty, life and liberty, Rajat, please.
No.
Rajat, give me 10 seconds. No, let me. You asked for time. I allowed you to finish your point. Let me just conclude my thought in 10 seconds, please. Life and liberty. The judge. I mean, I think it was the CJI who said that life and liberty trumps over any alleged criminality, howsoever high the bar for bail might be, even as per Section 45 of PMLA. This is what the Supreme Court had said, and I believe all these bails for various accused in the liquor gate and other matters have sort of happened after that was said by the highest court.
In spite of Chief Justice's big bold words, it will be the Supreme Court yet again who will eat these words and not pass judgments on bail orders even in the future, no matter what the government of the day is. The real problem is that the bail norms should be laid out in black and white, and there should be no grey area whatsoever.
Let me move from.
You can come out and discuss about the morality.
Let me move from the legal to the political. Rashid Kidwai, what is going to be the political fallout of Arvind Kejriwal's release? Court has not put any restrictions on him taking part in political activity. Yes, his official duties, the court has put some restrictions on, but no bar on campaigning, no bar on going to Haryana and campaigning, no bar on campaigning in Delhi for the next assembly elections. How do you see this playing out over the next 6 months?
Yes, so Zaka, I think that's a very valid and a very pertinent question. I think today's, Arvind Kejriwal getting bail is a huge political setback to the BJP. The BJP spokesman is behaving as if he's a CBI spokesperson. He must do the cost, analysis of the implications, what you are raising, and how it is going to play out in Haryana and in coming Delhi elections, etc. The case should have been on the part of, CBI and others should have been watertight. If they were arrested, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal, they should have been able to book him. Supreme Court is not a trial court. The trial will take place. Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has roots in society. He is an elected representative. So therefore, if he had committed any wrong, he should have been punished. There should have been a strong case against him. Thing is, CBI is not a cage parrot. CBI acts like a vulture when it comes to opposition. I am not saying it, Zaka. This is not my word. This is in May 2013 when Supreme Court had originally coined this word, cage parrot. This was said by Mr. Anand Kumar, the General Secretary of the BJP. So the BJP has double yardsticks. When they were in opposition, they described CBI as a vulture when it comes to opposition.
Okay.
In 2024, 11 years later, the BJP spokesman is doubling up as a CBI spokesperson.
No, but
And
Rashid, what is the political fallout? I'll give you 30 seconds to.
The political fallout is huge because now Mr. Arvind Kejriwal will campaign. He would stand as sort of politically vindicated. That is, he would say that there is no truth in this liquor scam. It was all Tota Maina ki kahani. It was all cooked up. All these things and it will reflect more Zaka more than Haryana. It will reflect very badly on the BJP in Delhi.
Okay, Haryana and Delhi. Quick response, Rashid. Sorry, Pradeep. I have to go to Dr. Singhvi.
See, I'll come on the politics of it, but I am spokesperson for truth, and the truth is that the order of the Supreme Court, as I reiterate, only speaks about the legality of arrest, grants a conditional bail. That's the fact. Now, Mr. Rashid ji was speaking about the politics of it. On a lighter note, when Mr. Arvind Kejriwal had come out of on bail in the May order of the Supreme Court, he contested on 7 seats in Delhi. All the 7 seats were won by the Bharatiya Janata Party. He contested in Haryana and he could not win a single seat. In the last Haryana Assembly election, the Aam Aadmi Party lost deposits on all seats, including Bhiwani. So, in fact, I'll tell you, Zaka, the amount of happiness which is there in the studios seeing Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's release is not even there in the Congress Party and Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi got even tweeted once. Rahul Gandhi got even tweeted once. I want to ask you.
No, there's no happiness or anything. I think the court has reiterated a fundamental principle that right to life and liberty trumps over everything else.
Absolutely. But my question
whatever alleged criminality there might be.
See, Zaka, you were speaking about the India Alliance. I remember doing a debate with you on the Haryana. But why has the Congress not tweeted about it?
Okay, I have to go to Dr. Singhvi. Thank you very much to all our guests. Thank you so much. Dr. Singhvi is multiple-term parliamentarian, member of the CWC, and in this context, most importantly, the lawyer for Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. Dr. Singhvi, thank you very much for speaking with us. There is a differing opinion. I don't know if you got a chance to hear our debate. Clearly, the BJP and its spokespeople have taken a different view. They have clung on to one of the 2 judges today, Judge Suryakant, who has said that there was no illegality in the arrest and that the appellant's arrest by the CBI was permissible in light of the trial court's order, that there was no merit in the appellant's contention that set procedure was flouted or that the arrest suffers from any kind of procedural infirmity. They are saying that at least one of 2 judges has said that yes, there was nothing wrong with the arrest. Yes, he's passed the triple test of bail, but that doesn't mean that the arrest was illegal.
Zaka, these are nuances which require some time without being technical, and I think your viewers need to know this. And you should not be surprised at the respective political views being taken. But let's leave politics aside for a while. Number one, the takeaway is a unanimous decision by both judges that bail is deserved, bail is the rule, tampering is not made out, flight risk is not there. There is no question of the trial being completed not in the foreseeable or even the longer future. It has not even started. The logistics are enormous and delay defeats the fundamental rights of the accused and therefore trumps any objection to bail. These are all unanimous decisions of both, which people tend to forget. Number 2, there is a nuance. Justice Suryakant, of course, has said that the arrest is valid. But Justice Suryakant has done that only on the basis of one basis, a legal basis. He has not examined the factual part. Legally, he has said that 41 and 41A2 provisions are inapplicable to the arrest for the simple reason that Kejriwal was already an arrestee in judicial custody. Yeah. And therefore, the police didn't have to do those things. The magistrate did it. That's the short point he's dealt with. Now, I have genuine great respect for Justice Suryakant. He has not dealt with the other point, which the other judge has dealt with, on necessity to arrest. So I would say that this is an error here between the 2. I would prefer the Bhuyan view for the reason that Justice Bhuyan says that forget everything else. Factually, the 3 dates show that a FIR of August 28, a interrogation of middle of 23, August 22, interrogation of middle of 23, and an arrest of March 24 cannot show a necessity to arrest. Now, the point which is the error here is that even assuming that Justice Suryakant is right about 41 and 41A not applying, it is possible for him to say that on these dates, the magistrate erred. And that is the basis on which Justice Bhuyan has given, I think, contextually a correct judgment. Number three is important. The conditions of bail, a lot of misinformation is going on. People tend to forget that these conditions are not at all new. They are identical to the 12th July order.
Yes.
Now, they also forget that Kejriwal holds no portfolio. Actually, Kejriwal is a unique chief minister who doesn't sign files. because his portfolio ministers sign files. There is one category only which he has to sign, which are those for onward transmission to the LG. The Supreme Court on 12th July, forget today, has specifically permitted him to sign all those files which he needs to sign, which are the ones going on to the LG. So in that sense, it's a red herring to talk about governance even after he's out.
But tell me, Dr. Singhvi, when the court has said he can't visit the secretariat, he can't sign files officially, there is no discharge of duties in his official capacity as chief minister, the BJP is saying, why doesn't he just step down?
Can I? You didn't hear me. You didn't allow me to complete. That's misreading and a mis-summary of the order. You are saying he can't sign files, he can't go to the secretary. He can sign all the files which are needed to be signed by him at your house, at my house, at his own house. He can. That category of files which he signs is specifically permitted by the Supreme Court, is the category which goes to the LG. Other files he doesn't sign anyway.
No, but if he can't discharge his official duties as Chief Minister of Delhi, then why is he clinging on to that chair? That's the question being asked by the BJP.
1 minute. Who is saying that he cannot discharge?
Well, he can't go to the secretariat. As you said, he's a no portfolios minister.
1 minute. Can he not take political decisions in the cabinet as the Chief Minister, where his portfolio minister signed the file? Can he take a decision? There was some fetter when he was in jail because possibly he could not talk politics and take decisions. Has the court said that he, as an elected CM today, he cannot take a decision?
Okay, let me be clear about what you're saying. That Mr. Kejriwal, if he so chooses, tomorrow can call for a cabinet meeting of the Delhi cabinet in his house, take decisions, get his ministers to sign off on those files. Is that what you're saying?
To the extent that the allocation of powers allows the minister to sign, that minister will sign. The court cannot ever say, it cannot ever say and has never said that you are an elected CM and I will stop you and paralyze you without an electorate throwing you out. That's a complete misreading. Yes, what he cannot do is, he cannot sign files, most of which he could not and need not have signed anyway because the minister signed them.
What about those files, even if he were to sign it, have to be authorized by the LG?
Always, even when he was free, even when there was no case, even when there was no liquor scam, even when he was not arrested. All files which go to the LG anyway go to the LG. The only addition is they require Kejriwal's signature and not the signature of ABC minister. The problem is that too much of politics clouds the detail, clouds the principle. Now this is today, in fact, when you're in jail, you can say physically, since your movements are circumscribed, there is some effect on governance, communication, movement around, meeting the people.
Okay.
Problem, finding that your house is a drain which is leaking, finding my house is a tree which has fallen down and taking action. But today, there is no question that an order of 12th July of the Supreme Court, it would be ridiculous to says that Mr. Kejriwal cannot function, cannot take decisions.
Okay. I want to get one final question from you, which is basically that the implication of today's judgment is, and of course, Mr. Kejriwal is not the first person to get bail in this case. A number of people have got bail. And one recurring theme, almost like a leitmotif that we're seeing, is that court is saying that right to life and liberty trump over any alleged criminality, howsoever high the bar may be, under 45 of PMLA. Number two, and I think this is I guess this has implications beyond just the Liquorgate scam, that you cannot, without any definitive timeline for a trial. What may the implication of that be? Number of people the court has said while citing that as a reason to give them bail.
A number of Supreme Court decisions, many of which I have had the privilege of assisting the Supreme Court in, have now held that despite the higher negative threshold of Section 45 of the PMLA, the even higher threshold of the Constitution, which is even higher, Article 20, 21 and 22, right to life, will trump and override that negative threshold if you are able to show delay. Now in this so-called liquor scam, they have said that forget trial. Trial is not even started. There are lakhs of digital documents. There are thousands of non-digital documents. There are hundreds of witnesses. And that will trump the negative bar of 45. The second thing is important is that you are today, when this happened, Zaka, I was abroad, when the third week, June, arrest of CBI happened, I used the term insurance arrest, which I have used hundreds of times thereafter. The court has not adopted that term, though I argued it. But the court has said something similar as far as Justice Bhuyan is concerned. He says this is a strategic move to frustrate his impending release. 2, he had got release orders, and 1 he got later. So this is the only case where a person has 3 release orders under more stringent acts, and the CBI comes along and arrests him after 2 years. And last but not the least, you must actually thank the BJP. You must actually thank the ED in setting your law. And I'll tell you why. The so-called fortress of PMLA, the so-called impregnable fortress of PMLA, has now actually become a hut, and even the walls of that hut are crumbling. Judgment after judgment in the last 2 years, because of the high-handedness of the ruling party, because of the misuse of ED against political opponents, has set a catena of about 10 to 12 judgments, which have now opened up the interpretation of the act, which was assumed to be impregnable.
Okay, but very quickly, do you believe the really strong words that Justice Bhuyan had for the CBI when it came to arrest will now raise the bar for arrest by investigative agencies?
Theoretically, yes. Practically, no.
Okay, all right.
When you have a vulture or a caged parrot, or you have any kind of a person who's under the direction and control, and especially of a control freak sarkar like this, I don't see any change in the ground. The Supreme Court speaks generally. You can always do something else on the ground till that case comes up, and next time in the Supreme Court.
Okay, Dr. Singhvi, as always, a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining us and explaining to our viewers the import of today's judgment. Thank you. So let's shift focus now to the state of the US presidential race. Donald Trump has now ruled out yet another presidential debate against his rival Kamala Harris before the election in November. But political pundits are very clear that the presidential debate has accomplished more for Harris than it did for Trump. The Trump campaign must reckon with the likelihood that their candidate's performance pleased his base without really rallying many new supporters to Trump's side. Perhaps also because there are many questionable policies being considered by Trump and the Republican Party, and that includes slapping huge tariffs on US imports, deporting millions of immigrants. By far the most dangerous one for him politically is abortion. So it's little surprise why the debate has put new wind in Harris's sails, and most importantly, the portion where Trump said weird things like immigrants are eating up cats and dogs in a city in Ohio, that seemed to have shown just how weird and how extreme the Trump and Vance campaign has been, in contrast to the very normal behavior, if you will, at least that's the way they've portrayed it, the normal behavior and the normal being of both Harris and her running mate Walz.
2 nights ago, Donald Trump and I had our debate. You watched it? Did you watch it? And look, I believe we owe it to have another debate. Right? We owe it to the voters.
So because we've done 2 debates and because they were successful, there will be no 3rd debate.
Donald Trump is not taking Kamala Harris's bait anymore. He has refused to take part in another debate with his Democratic rival. The former president claims he doesn't need a rematch because he won the September 10 debate hosted by ABC News. But even Republicans are admitting that he bombed against the vice president. Is that the reason why he's not doing another debate? And does it hint at a vulnerability in his political career?
I would do NBC, I'd do Fox too. I do Fox too, but right now we have to determine whether or not we even want to do. We had a great night last night, and you see by the poll numbers, it was really fantastic. Thank you very much, everybody.
A day after the debate, Trump seemed open to the idea of another one, suggesting that it should be done on networks like NBC or Fox News. During the debate against Harris on ABC, Trump appeared unprepared, unfocused, and often veering off subject. He squandered his best chance to take down his opponent in a cliffhanger election. So the former president might be right to not further mitigate the risk with another debate. The move has made Harris's team gloat and claim that Trump is scared to debate her. Harris's senior campaign advisor David Plouffe even called Trump a chicken. Ever since the debate, Trump has repeatedly said that it was unfair towards him. from claiming that the anchors were biased to alleging that Kamala Harris had the questions beforehand.
All right, let's move on to some international stories, and it's the final stretch of the US presidential elections. Just this week, we've had the debate, perhaps the first and only debate between the two contenders. That's Kamala Harris of the Democratic Party, the Vice President of the United States currently, and Donald Trump, the former president, who is the Republican nominee. And by most accounts, it seems like Kamala Harris is the one who won that debate. But the bigger question is, can she convert the debate victory into momentum going all the way through to November when the election happens? And something that is of interest and importance here in India for our viewers who are watching this program, who out of these two, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump, may be better for India? Because at the end of the day, it's going to be one of these two. It's going to be either the Democratic nominee or the Republican nominee. But which of these two could potentially be better for India-US relations? But let me first throw this open to someone who knows India-US relations or a thing or two about it and has watched it from very close quarters. Timothy Romer is the former US ambassador to India. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking with us. First things first, I'm sure you, like millions of others around the world, watched the debate Tuesday night. What were your impressions of how the debate panned out, and do you have a decisive winner from Tuesday night?
Well, nice to be with you and your viewers again. Always a pleasure to be on your show. I just came from the great state of Michigan, which is, as you know, a battleground state, one of the 4 or 5 states that will determine the election, and spent the day there in Ann Arbor and in Detroit. So I come from right the heat of the battle. My personal opinion of who won the debate is probably not in disagreement with most of the pundits on the Democratic and the Republican side. I thought Kamala Harris, the vice president, clearly won the debate from the outset, both on the optics. She walked right into Donald Trump's space, shook his hand, and let him know from the get-go that she was a commander-in-chief and she was going to take charge of the debate. I also thought she did a very good job talking about the issues, the economy, inflation, housing, prices, what middle-class Americans are experiencing in terms of cost, frustration with that cost. And she had specific things that she announced that she would do about those things if she was elected. Donald Trump talked a lot about immigration, which is an issue that is also prominent to most Americans. And he was very aggressive on that issue, almost too aggressive when he diverted into cats and dogs and theories about Haitians eating people and animals and everything else. And he kind of got into territory that eroded some of the credibility and seriousness that he needs to show to win that final 5 or 6% of undecided voters. So I thought Vice President Harris did a good job, and I thought she had a sense of humor at times. She wasn't taking herself too seriously. She had great facial expressions as well as substance, and it's too bad that we won't have another debate.
I do want to ask you, whatever bump up she will get, and I think there's one poll out, Reuters, Ipsos, which seems to show that she's about a couple of points up because of the debate and her debate performance. But would that bump up be good enough to see her through in November?
Yes, I think it would. I think you asked the key question in your preface to the interview. Do debate wins or victories or losses actually translate into points in the polls? Are those key voters, that 2 or 3% that decided the 2020 election, are they actually watching the debate in Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin and Georgia and Arizona? What other factors are they going to consider as those people decide in the next 50 days how they're going to cast their ballots? They're going to look at, the economy and inflation. They're going to look at the freedom of choice and women's right to choose what they do with their bodies. They're going to look at immigration, and quite frankly, who's got the position on immigration to protect jobs in America and to be tough on the border. Kamala Harris has changed her position on that, said that she would not decriminalize penalties. She's going to be tougher on the border. Mm-hmm. So, I think both candidates now are going to practically live in these swing states. Both Harris and Walz are, I think, in Pennsylvania and Michigan today. I think Mr. Trump is also going to those same states, along with Mr. Vance. So, we're just going to see a barrage of advertising, of personal presence, of rallies, social media, all concentrating on these states. And, you haven't asked this question yet, I'm sure you will, but it's not just the presidential race that we're involved in these swing states. It is the Senate and the House races and control of the Senate and the House. These will be razor thin races to control the 100-person chamber in the Senate and the 435 chamber in the House. Both of those may come down to 2 or 3 seats to determine control. And ultimately, after all this money and all this time, we may well have an outcome which is divided government, which is maybe Harris wins the presidency, the Republicans win the Senate, and the House is so close, it's 1 or 2 votes either way.
So I do want to ask you, this is a question, of course, that will concern a lot of our viewers here in India. Having served as a former ambassador to India, which of these 2 candidates, if they go on to become president, would be better for India, Trump or Harris?
Well, let's take, first of all, let me just congratulate India. India just had a magnificent election, carried it off perfectly over a 6-week period. 640 million people voted. There was not any doubt from either side, the BJP side, which eventually formed a coalition, or the Congress side, or all the other regional parties. There wasn't really any debate about the fairness and the freedom of that election. Whoever wins in India, that is a powerful sign to the world about the beacon of freedom and hope that India, as a global power, now shows that democracy works and that people vote and they have access to that ballot box. A tremendously important message to the world that India sends by that. And we have our election coming up in November. Now, who's the better candidate for India? The good news for India is that the relationship between India and the United States has progressed so significantly, deeply, and strategically over the last 15 to 20 years. Both Democrats and Republicans in the United States running for president in the Senate and the House believe in this relationship, and it's going to continue to be strong. We have strong caucuses in the House and the Senate that are led by Democrats and Republicans together working on this relationship. So that's the good news. I would say personally, in terms of 3 things, that I believe Kamala Harris is the better candidate for the relationship between the United States and India. 1, I think Donald Trump is already announced that he will double tariffs from 10% to 20%. That is going to have a significant impact not only on American households. Some economists are saying that could cost American households and taxpayers $3,000 to $4,000 per household if he jacks those tariffs up. That could also mean difficult trade relations with India. Mr. Trump tends to look at the relationship between other countries simply on deficits and surpluses, not on the strategic relationship between the 2 countries. So first, tariffs and their impact on India would be significantly negative. Vice President Harris has not talked about raising those tariffs around the world to 20%, nor on applying them directly to India because of a deficit. Secondly, I think, part of the relationship between Mr. Modi and Mr. Biden and the relationship between our government and the Indian government is based upon stability and predictability and friendship and trust. Oftentimes, Mr. Trump comes into the world powers and you don't know what's going to happen day to day. It's full of chaos. It's full of unpredictability. It's full of volatility. One day, Russia is his friend. The next day, Russia is not his friend. And that, that hurts predictability. And we know other partners in the world like to know ahead of time what the United States is going to do. So I think the second reason is, global strategic stability and predictability. Harris is more predictable in her relationship, both with India and with other powers in the world. And I think the third issue is Ms. Harris has a real affinity and relationship to India on a personal note and a familial note.
All right, Ambassador Romer, as always, a pleasure speaking with you, sir. Thank you very much for joining us and giving us your thoughts and perspective on not just the state of the race right now, and particularly so after the debate that happened earlier this week, and more importantly, which of these two candidates, in your view, might be much, sir.
My pleasure.
All right, that's a wrap of Brass Tacks, this Friday night edition. Thank you very much from me, Zaka Jacob, and the rest of the team. We'll catch you again Monday night, same time. Good night.
मेरे जिंदगी का एक एक पल, मेरे शरीर का एक एक कतरा, मेरे खून का एक एक कतरा देश के लिए समर्पित है। मैंने जिंदगी में बहुत संघर्ष किया है, बहुत बड़े संघर्ष किए, जिंदगी में बहुत मुसीबतें झेली है, लेकिन हर कदम पे भगवान ने मेरा साथ दिया। ऊपर वाले ने मेरा साथ दिया। क्यों? क्योंकि मैं सच्चा था, मैं सही था, इसलिए भगवान ने मेरा साथ दिया। इन लोगों ने मुझे जेल में डाल दिया। इन लोगों को लगा कि केजरीवाल को जेल में डाल देंगे तो केजरीवाल के हौसले टूट जाएंगे। आज मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं, मैं जेल से बाहर आया हूं, मेरे हौसले 100 गुना ज्यादा बढ़ गए हैं। मेरी ताकत 100 गुना ज्यादा बढ़ गई है। इनकी जेल की मोटी मोटी दीवारें, इनकी जेल की सलाखें केजरीवाल के हौसले को कमजोर नहीं कर सकती। मैं भगवान से प्रार्थना करता हूं, जैसे आज तक ऊपर वाले ने मेरे को रास्ता दिखाया, ऊपर वाले ने मेरे को ताकत दी, ऐसे ही भगवान मुझे रास्ता दिखाता रहे, मैं देश की सेवा करता रहूं। और ये जितनी राष्ट्र विरोधी ताकतें हैं जो देश के विकास को रोक रही हैं, जो देश को बांटने का काम कर रही हैं, जो देश को अंदर से कमजोर करने का काम कर रही हैं, जिंदगी भर में इनके खिलाफ लड़ा हूं, आगे भी ऐसे ही लड़ता रहूंगा। भारत माता की, भारत माता की।
All right, so the Aam Aadmi Party chief convener and of course the chief minister of Delhi over there declaring that his power and spirits have only gotten stronger, and he hopes that God will keep showing him the way forward to serve the country, and that he will keep fighting for this country, and that he was always right, and that he's been granted the bail is only testament to the fact that he's always fought for the truth. Let's quickly go across to Yash Goyal, who's reporting live for us. All right, in fact, let me quickly bring in Anmol Panwar, the spokesperson for the Aam Aadmi Party. Let's try to bring Anmol, but Amit, that's a very emphatic message coming out there from the Delhi Chief Minister, also going on to accuse the government at the centre for taking after him. How is the BJP now going to respond to the fact that this is also a very heated political climate right now? You have the Haryana election coming up. Many are also questioning the fact that this is going to put you on a sticky wicket, the BJP on a sticky wicket, now that a very confident Arvind Kejriwal is out on bail.
Ma'am, if you recall, और जांच एजेंसियों की निष्पक्षता को लेकर जो सवाल खड़ा किया गया, उस विषय पे भाजपा को ध्यान देना चाहिए, ना कि उनके राजनीतिक बयान देना चाहिए. Now I will do this, I will do that. But what happened? He lost all 7 seats. So it's not going to be a case of that it will make lot.
States at the crossroads of change. In Jammu and Kashmir, the stakes have never been higher. Will the promise of peace and progress prevail? In Haryana, as the fight for power intensifies, will alliances and caste equations shape the future? As the battle for states intensifies, tracking every twist, every turn, and every key moment, only on Battle for the States.
Already lost couple of elections, be it Chhattisgarh, be it Madhya Pradesh, be it Gujarat, be it Goa, be it Uttarakhand, be it Haryana on the last occasion, be it Uttar Pradesh. So it's not that, and now what is he saying? He is saying that I am going, मैं देश की सेवा करने के लिए ऐसे ही करता रहूंगा. कौन से देश की सेवा कर रहे हो आप? You are a token chief minister who can't visit his own office. You are not even doing anything for the Delhi public, and now you are saying that मैं देश की सेवा करूंगा. This is nothing but all drama. Self-serving political narrative is sought to be created, but people have realized him. Now his stand has changed. He has been exposed. His dual character has been exposed. If you remember, he was carrying a list of 25-30 people before 2013 saying that these people are corrupt. I have evidence against them. Did he take any action? Now, were they convicted at that point of time? Were they convicted by any honorable court? No, but still he leveled allegations. Now today there are allegations against him, charge sheet against him, but there is sufficient material against him. Still he is saying I am innocent. So this is the character of the man, a completely liar, shifts his stand in terms of his own convenience. That's all. But people have realized it.
All right, Sumit Akpal, if I could bring you in, the fact that there are still conditions accompanying Arvind Kejriwal's bail, would that have any kind of bearing on election campaign?
In that case,
right, I'm so sorry to interrupt you over there. In fact, we have some live visuals coming in from Tihar jail. Arvind Kejriwal finally stepping out of Tihar jail. This is the big breaking news we are bringing to you right now, that the Delhi Chief Minister is finally out on bail, stepping out. It's been raining cats and dogs, as you can see, and amid this heavy rainfall, there are celebrations happening outside Tihar jail as all of the Aam Aadmi Party cadres have gathered outside to welcome the chief convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, the Chief Minister of New Delhi. You can hear amid chants of Bharat Mata Ki Jai, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal stepping out, looking extremely jubilant and victorious over there, holding a mic and reaching out, sending a message. Let's also listen in.
अरे यहीं आएंगे भाई, यहीं आएंगे. स्पीच चल रही है, स्पीच अरे भाई साहब लाखों करोड़ों लोगों का शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ। लाखों लोगों ने मन्नत मांगी, लाखों लोगों ने दुआएं की, आशीर्वाद भेजे, प्रार्थना की, मंदिर गए, मस्जिद गए, गुरुद्वारे गए। उन सब लोगों का मैं शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहता हूँ। इतनी बारिश है, इतनी बड़ी संख्या में आए, शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ। दोस्तों, मेरा जीवन देश के लिए समर्पित है। मेरे जिंदगी का एक एक पल, मेरे शरीर का एक एक कतरा, मेरे खून का एक एक कतरा देश के लिए समर्पित है। मैंने जिंदगी में बहुत संघर्ष किया है, बहुत बड़े संघर्ष किए, जिंदगी में बहुत मुसीबतें झेली है, लेकिन हर कदम पे भगवान ने मेरा साथ दिया। ऊपर वाले ने मेरा साथ दिया। क्यों? क्योंकि मैं सच्चा था, मैं सही था, इसलिए भगवान ने मेरा साथ दिया। इन लोगों ने मुझे जेल में डाल दिया। इन लोगों को लगा कि केजरीवाल को जेल में डाल देंगे तो केजरीवाल के हौसले टूट जाएंगे। आज मैं आपको कहना चाहता हूं, मैं जेल से बाहर आया हूं, मेरे हौसले 100 गुना ज्यादा बढ़ गए हैं।
Hello, Namaskar. This is First Post and you're watching Vantage with me, Palki Sharma. Are India and China normalizing ties? We've been tracking key meetings, statements and policy decisions, and they all indicate a shift. Tonight, we'll tell you what has changed and whether a resolution to the border dispute is finally in sight. In the US, a heated debate over the presidential debate. Was it biased? Did the moderators help and favor Kamala Harris? We'll tell you who said what and why. In Pakistan, they're celebrating a new hero, a police